everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video, although there's no actual royal news in this one. It's to do with the ex-royal of Montecito. I said at the end of the last video I was going to talk about, it sounded like making spaghetti. I meant Meghan spaghetti. The reason why I said that is because I think there is a spaghetti shortage over in Montecito, because Meghan is clearly boiling it and throwing it at the wall in hope that something will stick. It is a metaphor for her career choices. She doesn't know what personality she wants to be from one day to the next, let alone which career path she's going to choose. One minute she's promoting jam, the next minute she's promoting how she's a successful business female founder, and she can't run a business. She terrorizes all of her staff so they quit, and well, the business hasn't even really been going much longer than a year, and it has been covered by so many problems. It's truly remarkable that anybody could give her a platform. But of course, with Meghan pushing this whole successful businesswoman, she gets to hang around and mingle with all of the other actual real successful businesswomen. Some of them have actually created their little empires from the ground. We saw her hanging around at the Hamptons, and I reckon that's because she was just trying to work out which personality she was going to try and steal when she reinvents herself again. So obviously everybody knows that Meghan is trying to gaslight the world now, that she is known only for her choices in fashion and beauty. And much like the woman that she seems to be stalking at the moment to reinvent herself into a fashionista, Lady Beckham, she is also apparently toying with the idea of going down the makeup route. But before I get onto that, let's talk about Meghan pushing her female empowerment vibe still. And she went to an exclusive dinner, a seat at the table, which naturally had her royal titles on the seating plan. Meghan attended as a guest, some people have reported as the main guest, of Emma Grede, who put on a dinner party to rival, I'm presuming that of like Gwyneth Paltrow's, but with less A-listers involved. But one food critic, one restaurant critic, shall I say, he did a write-up on what he thought about their dinner, which was a women-only event. It was a vegan chef. Clearly, he's not a fan of veganism or this sort of, I would say, vapid get-together of female celebrities blowing smoke up each other's asses. And he called it one of the most ghastliest, most grotesque, most vulgar, most shallow, most revolting, most tasteless, most vacuous, most vainglorious dinner party in history. I guess he's not a big fan of these sort of ostentatious parties that celebrities like to throw every so often. The sort of celebrities that also like to pepper in a bit of charity work every now and then to pretend that they're humanitarians, and then they do Kardashian-style dinner parties, wasting hundreds of thousands of pounds on one evening. Although they obviously didn't spend too much because Meghan was the one that bought the wine. Now, when the camera was on Meghan, she seemed to be in her element, as she always is. But in this one photograph, she looks like she was about to actually eat the guest next to her. If love bombing had a photograph next to it in the dictionary, this would be a strong contender. This is Nicole Avant, who just happens to be the Netflix CEO's wife, Ted Sarandos. Yes, I'm sure Nicole is used to this level of fawning and people crawling all over her just in hopes that she might be putting in a good word with her husband. I love the fact that this was a celebrity, low-level celebrity gathering of like-minded businesswomen, and Meghan's offering was some of her white label wine. I'd imagine she had a face like thunder because nobody was drinking it. Let's be honest, these women are no doubt used to high-end bottles of wine, whereas most of us are aware Meghan's wine is produced elsewhere by a company and Meghan just sticks her label on it. The same wine is no doubt available with different companies' labels on it, probably cheaper. Now, this wasn't the only event where Meghan had dumped her wine on people. I'm presuming the reason why she sold out is because she bought it all herself. She made an appearance at the godmother's bookstore. She appeared alongside one of her friends called Courtney Adamo, who has just released a book to talk about the fun of bringing up children in a family home, which she co-wrote with her husband. Well, someone might have wanted to tell Meghan that, because I tell you what, she took over the event like it was her very own moment. She kept interrupting her friend, over talking her friend, adjusting where the microphone went. And judging by her friend's face, I can imagine that she was getting slightly pissed off about it. She was there to promote her book, and she had Meghan alongside her because of Meghan's interest in everything fun in the home. And I think it kind of backfired on her. Now, no Meghan appearance with a microphone would be complete without Meghan bringing up a new anecdote involving her favourite child, Lily, and this time was no different. This little story was about the thorn and the rose, and this is a way that you can parent your children when they're at an age when their answers are only yes or no. This is supposed to encourage them to have longer answers, right? And Meghan says, our daughter is 4 and she's a very strong personality and she is incredible. Now she's in this moment where I say, what's your rose and thorn? And she goes, my day is such a blast. Yes. 4 years old. Yes. In another story that didn't happen in Meghan's world, honestly. But she came out with a beauty, a chestnut here. I'll see what you guys think of this. Meghan, as we know, is very, very famous for one story in particular. You know the one I mean. When she was 11 years old, she's built up her entire feminist personality around this one story that she was so horrified and disgusted because there was a washing up advert on TV that depicted a woman's place is in the kitchen. So obviously she's talking about the fun and the joy of being a hostess when people come round. And no word of a lie, do you know how Meghan makes people feel comfortable when they come round her house? She opens the door barefoot, wearing an apron, and she makes sure that there's nice smelling things on the stove, such as, a hot toddy, a cider, nice aromas. And you're like, do you fetch your husband's slippers at the same time as you serve him a martini? This is a woman that has built up her entire fake persona of being a feminist. And she's like, you open the door wearing an apron. Honestly, talk about a Stepford wife crossover here. She's nuts. She forgets one personality to the next. But as this video is about, Meghan is reinventing herself. We know she's getting bored of as ever. I reckon that's why she keeps dumping this wine on people, because the guests at this event got to drink her wine afterwards. I bet they were like, yay, yummy. But she is, as I said, stalking Victoria Beckham. This is her fashionista and now beauty phase. Rumours have long circulated that Meghan is going back into the world of makeup. She was never in the world of makeup. She has friends like Bobby Brown that are in makeup, and she has a friend, or some people just call a member of staff. I have to be careful because he already dislikes me immensely. Of course, we have the crying makeup artist, Daniel Martin, who might have just had a bit of a slapdown or a bit of a reset, a little bit of a moment where he was just readjusted and told exactly where his friendship lies with Meghan. Because after Paris, we know that he went out there with her. All of the gays went out there with her, and they did her hair and her makeup. And he put out a gushing post about the fact that he did Meghan's makeup. He did an Instagram post and he listed all of the makeup that was used. And he said that we just wanted to keep it light, talking about Meghan's makeup. Fresh and radiant. She just flew in and your skin gets dehydrated from the plane. So I just wanted to bring some hydration back into her skin. Well, Daniel, you certainly did that. You looked like that you had tried to drown her in a vat of Vaseline. He goes on to say, I would love to get her in a lip one day. Yes, apparently it's no longer trendy or cool to say lipstick, people. Keep up, keep up. But he says, Meghan, if you're watching this, I'd love to see you in a lip. So this then shortly got taken down, I guess once Meghan saw the post, and someone decided to speak to a member of the press because for some reason people were interested, and it said that Daniel had taken it down because he hadn't listed all of the products correctly. But there's an edit button and it was never reposted again. But around about the same time, this is when Meghan was posting her New York trip, and we had a lovely montage. And in one segment, Meghan is putting on her very own lipstick. I mean, talk about bad timing, Daniel. You should have known. But this, I believe, like many do, this is Meghan getting ready to ramp up to promote herself. She's trying to gaslight people that she's known for beauty and for makeup, which she's really not. But this is Meghan reinventing herself. Who cares about the truth? This is a new personality that is emerging. And who better than Victoria Beckham to base herself on? Because we get lots of tutorials from Victoria Beckham, who has her own makeup line. And I think that's who Meghan is obviously trying to emulate, but just like a Temu version of it. Victoria comes across funny and natural because she's just being herself. Meghan even putting on lipstick, it looks painful and contrived. And what's worse, this wasn't the most flattering of video clips to show. In my opinion, I think she looks like she's just come in from a hard night out clubbing. Do you remember when you used to go out clubbing? It'd be 2, 3 in the morning and the lights would be switched on and everyone would be like, oh, Jesus, oh. That's what this came across as. Plus, Meghan is applying a lip, or at least she's faking applying a lip, because it was completely nude. No surprise there, Meghan has gone for the most boring coloured lipstick that she could think of to match her boring coloured wardrobe. But Daniel has been by her side for all of these years, a loyal confidant and friend who is always there. He's even in the comments section, fending off people, defending his best friend. And I think that Daniel might find himself being slowly shoved onto the cutting room floor, because Meghan, at the same time as talking about she's going to go into beauty and fashion, we're starting to now have a lot of stories come out that Meghan does her own makeup. This is all part of her ramping up, getting ready to plug it, that she's now also a very skilled makeup artist. But it's going to be interesting to see if we still get photos of Daniel actually doing her makeup, or whether it's now going to be Meghan doing a Temu Victoria Beckham. But I think she really needs to work on her lighting here. As I said, it wasn't the most flattering of makeup moments. So it looks as though Meghan will be adding makeup mogul to her ever-increasing resume. In the last few years, we have seen Meghan be a podcaster, a TV producer, an author, a global leader. A leader of what? No one knows. An influencer, a jam maker, a TV Stepford wife with her own cooking show, a business founder, a fashion icon, a humanitarian. There is truly no end to Meghan's talents or her flexibility. I mean, it's hard to keep up being an outsider looking in. Can you imagine how hard it is to keep up with her being her publicist? There is a reason why so many of her staff quit, and lots of them now don't even get past 3 months. Another high flyer, Alison Robinson, who worked for Netflix on The Crown, has quit after barely 3 months of service. Friends have said that she's a tough cookie. It was her decision. She left a few weeks ago. She's not a quitter, so things must have been pretty horrible for her to go. This is their 10th publicist that they have lost. She was the director of communications, oh so briefly. She's not even put her short term on her LinkedIn profile, permanently erasing it from her history. And you've got to think to yourself, why would she pretend that she never worked there? Because it must have genuinely been that awful. And I don't think working for this couple anymore is seen such a flex in the industry. It's a wonder anybody chooses to work for them, because it's clearly an impossible task. Meghan now reminds me of the evil princess in Wizard of Oz 2, a film that scarred my childhood. The evil princess kept everybody's heads in a cupboard, and each day she would pick one out that she decided that she wanted to wear. This must be what it's like working every day with Meghan. You never know when she gets out of bed whose head she's going to put on or whose head she's going to tear off. Meghan is quite clearly desperately trying to make something stick. As I said, she is becoming more erratic, more desperate. She's thrown everything she can in quick succession. No wonder her staff are quitting. The only thing that sticks with Meghan is the fact that she must be an absolute nightmare, an absolute horror to try and work with or for. And that is apparent by the number of people that keep walking out of that revolving door. Anyway, guys, that's it for me on this video. I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.